Greetings to all our dear listeners of the Destiny Tales channel. In today's familiar broadcast slot, we invite you to enjoy a captivating short story titled Devotion to the Department Head by author Blue Willow. We hope this story brings you moments of relaxation and intrigue. After listening, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to support me, Lily Sparks, and our production team. Thank you. My name is Emily, and I'm 27 years old. I'm married, but my husband and I haven't been able to have children. Our jobs are stable, and my husband, James, is loving and attentive. However, when it comes to that matter, my mother-in-law, Mrs. Clara, often grumbles, "How is it that you still haven't conceived?" It's frustrating, but there's nothing we can do. Her words have sparked many issues. She's already barren and lazy as sin. If she were half as capable as my friend's daughter-in-law, it'd be a blessing. I'm cursed to have a daughter-in-law like her, Clara would loudly complain to our neighbor, Mrs. Thompson, her voice echoing through the house. Upstairs, Emily sat quietly on her bed, letting out a few sighs before stepping outside. She and James had been married for over 4 years, yet they had no children. Sometimes, she wondered what sins she committed in a past life for the heavens to deny her a child in this one. She still remembered her wedding day, when Clara refused to let her enter through the front door, citing Emily's status as an orphan who lost her mother. Emily was gentle but not naive. She knew that in the old days, only pregnant brides were made to enter through the back door, not orphans. Thankfully, James's persistent arguments and Emily's pleas softened Clara, allowing her to enter the house properly. Emily worked as a seamstress at a factory near home. Her salary wasn't lavish, but it was decent. To Clara, however, it was never enough. She always believed Emily was reaching above her station by marrying James, who was, after all, the deputy manager of a coal company. Emily knew Clara disliked her from the start, preferring Sarah, an accountant at the local council, whose family was well off and, in Clara's eyes, a perfect match for their household. But James was adamant about marrying Emily, which only deepened Clara's resentment. This morning, like every other, Emily woke early to sweep the yard and tidy the house before folding clothes in her room. Yet, Clara still found fault, muttering complaints as Emily entered the kitchen. Before Emily could greet her, Clara sighed dramatically and walked away. Emily was used to it. When she first joined the family, such behavior saddened her, but now her heart had grown calloused. As a woman unable to bear children, she dared not argue, only enduring the insults in silence. Today was Saturday, and Emily had the day off, but she dreaded these days. James was away on a business trip to Oakville for several days, making time drag endlessly. She grabbed a basket and headed to the market, her eyes drifting between the sky and the ground. If only she had a child, just one child, her life might be different. 4 years felt longer than a decade. Clara's constant criticism was painful, but nothing hurt more than her inability to give James a child. Once, Emily researched modern science, considering in vitro fertilization, but every time she brought it up, her in-laws dismissed it. Even her wish to visit a clinic in Oakville was blocked by Clara, who would rant, "Back in my day, women gave birth like chickens laying eggs, no fuss. I had James and his sister, Helen, without any issues. Why waste money on doctors? Herbal remedies don't work, and those Western drugs just ruin your body. We don't have spare cash for such sinful nonsense. If you can't conceive naturally, that's that." Emily could only sigh. In this rural village, artificial insemination was seen as immoral, and childlessness was a fate to be accepted, not challenged. She tried discussing it with James, hoping he'd convince Clara, but he brushed it off, saying he too wanted a natural child. Truthfully, Emily longed for a natural child as much as anyone, but the cost of treatments was daunting. She had researched and knew it was beyond their means. Still, her yearning for a child of her own consumed her. After 4 years, she sensed James growing weary of her. Returning from the market, Clara had already eaten breakfast. Emily had prepared a light porridge, but as she stepped into the yard, Clara sneered, "This porridge is watery as soup. What a useless daughter-in-law. What did you buy? Is the fish fresh? How much was it?" "It's fresh, still swimming in the bucket." $80, including onions, cilantro, tomatoes, and greens, Emily replied. Clara shrieked, $80? Do you think my son's money grows on trees? You spend so recklessly. Your measly earnings can't even support yourself, yet you don't think about James, who feeds this whole family. $80, not counting rice, salt, or sugar, you must be swimming in cash. Emily bowed her head, silent. Lately, her father-in-law, Mr. Henry, complained about eating the same pork dishes, wanting a change. Yet, when she bought fish, Clara was visibly displeased. Nothing Emily cooked or bought ever satisfied her. Feeling helpless, Emily didn't respond, which infuriated Clara further. She threw a teacup at Emily, shouting, "Are you mute? Can't you speak?" Emily bit her lip, muttering, "I'm sorry. Truly cursed to have this fate. A motherless girl like you doesn't know how to live properly. Your father didn't teach you anything decent, did he? From father to daughter, you're all worthless." Clara spat. Emily's heart clenched. This wasn't the first time Clara insulted her family, but this was too much. Looking up, she said, "You can hate me, scold me, but don't speak of my father like that. He raised me alone, and though he's not rich, he's an honest man." Before she could finish, Clara screamed, "A daughter-in-law dares talk back? Your father's so honest, yet he raised a barren girl like you. If he's so great, why are you such a failure?" Emily's face burned with humiliation. Never had she felt so degraded. As she glared at Clara, ready to speak, the gate creaked open. James dragged his suitcase inside, asking, "What's all this noise so early? Did you argue with Mom again, Emily?" Clara set her teacup down, sighing, "James, you need to discipline your wife. I'm her elder, yet she talks back and argues. What kind of behavior is this?" Emily knew arguing was futile with James present. Clara always played the victim when her son was around. Silently, she retreated to the kitchen to cook. As she cleaned, she overheard James and Clara whispering upstairs, but despite calling them for lunch, neither came down. Her father-in-law was at a memorial in the neighboring village, so Emily ate alone, her heart icy. That night, lying beside James after his days away, Emily had much to share, longing to confide and reconnect. But as soon as he lay down, he fell asleep. Beside him, she felt profoundly alone. Over 4 years, knowing her infertility, she never demanded anything from James. Yet, the fragility of their bond grew more apparent, and James no longer seemed the man she once knew. The next morning, Emily woke early to sweep the yard and cook breakfast. She noticed Clara was gone since dawn. At noon, as Emily prepared to call her for lunch, she saw Clara return, cradling a baby wrapped in a blanket. Before Emily could process it, Clara shouted, "Henry! James! Emily! Come here, I have something to say." When everyone gathered, Clara announced, "This morning, I visited the neighboring village. Passing the forest edge, I found this boy, abandoned, likely just left there. There was a letter from his mother. Since we have no grandchildren, I felt pity and brought him home to raise, hoping it brings blessings. Maybe caring for him will help James have a child." Emily gazed at the baby, about a month old, with chubby, adorable features. Her father-in-law, always deferring to Clara, said nothing. James glanced at Emily, asking softly, "Shall we raise him, Emily? It's fate. We don't have children yet, so let's care for him to bring joy to our home." The baby was undeniably charming. At nearly 28, Emily had never experienced motherhood, and seeing him stirred a maternal instinct. She touched his cheek, smelling the faint scent of milk. With Clara and James decided, she had no say, but she genuinely wanted to care for him. Yet, a vague unease lingered. Clara wasn't known for charitable acts, so why this sudden kindness? Emily brushed the thought aside. After all, grandparents' longing for a child to hold was natural. She nodded gently. That afternoon, after lunch, Clara gave Emily and James money to buy supplies and formula for the baby, naming him Michael Smith, nicknamed Mikey. It was the first time Emily saw Clara so generous and cheerful. Too busy to dwell on it, Emily shopped for Mikey's needs, exhausted but content. The baby was well behaved, rarely crying, especially when James held him. Watching James, Emily felt a pang of sympathy. He, too, craved a child's laughter. For 4 years, she couldn't give him one, yet he stayed. Wasn't that her blessing? Despite Clara's harsh words, Emily felt fortunate. She resolved to love Mikey, hoping he'd bridge the gap with her in-laws. If she never bore a child, she'd treat Mikey sincerely, praying he'd bring her luck to conceive. Becoming a mother was daunting, but with help from James, Clara, and Henry, Emily adapted. Mikey slept with them, and the first night, Emily couldn't sleep, cradling him. He sought her chest, searching for milk he'd never had from his birth mother. Emily thought, if she had her own child, she might love Mikey even more than her own. His vulnerability touched her. He drank formula eagerly despite having no mother's milk. For the first month, Emily took unpaid leave to care for Mikey. Initially, James opposed her returning to work, but her salary was vital, especially with the high cost of formula. Clara agreed to watch Mikey, reassuring Emily. Before Mikey, Emily rose at 5 a.m. to clean and cook. With him, she woke at 4 a.m., setting her alarm to wash clothes, prepare formula, and shop for food to store in the fridge, as Clara was occupied with Mikey. One Friday morning, the factory held an urgent meeting. Arriving at the conference room, Emily learned the old department head was sacked. Her company, a large garment manufacturer, had a respected head of the sewing department. Though her branch was small, the news was significant. She didn't care much. Workers like her were content with steady work and wages. Oddly, such personnel changes usually required only a notice, not a meeting. As she mused, the manager spoke, introducing Mr. Nathan Brooks, our new department head. Nathan will oversee the main sewing operations in both our local and Oakville branches. Tonight, he's hosting a team dinner. Emily looked up and froze. Nathan was staring at her, his expression calm as he delivered his speech. After years, meeting him in this context was unthinkable. They had dated for 2 years before a breakup fueled by petty arguments and youthful pride. Neither reconciled, and a year later, Emily met and married James. She heard Nathan had married, but knew little else. The meeting felt stifling, but Nathan's speech was brief. He'd stay at their branch, visiting Oakville only once a week, making her uneasy. She once hated him, and likely, he wasn't fond of her. As exes with separate lives, she dreaded this reunion. That evening, Emily excused herself from the dinner, citing family duties. The manager, aware of Mikey, didn't press. Her diligence earned her favor with the factory's leadership. At home, she busied herself with chores and Mikey, forgetting Nathan. Mikey played with James and Clara. Days earlier, James mentioned registering Mikey's birth certificate, but as an abandoned child, the process was complex. After dinner, Emily bathed Mikey and put him to bed, where he clung to both her and James. She wondered why fate gave her such a sweet child. Perhaps he sensed his adoptive parents' love. The next morning, with a day off, Emily went to the market at 7 a.m. At the meat stall, the vegetable vendor called out, "Sarah, shopping? Haven't seen you in ages. Thought you transferred to Oakville. You're glowing, state workers sure have it good." Emily glanced over. Sarah, the council accountant Clara favored for James, smiled. I was on a project in the Highlands for months. No sun there, so my skin's fairer, she said. Highlands made you this radiant? When's the wedding? A beauty like you should settle down, the vendor teased. Soon, soon, Sarah replied. Emily noted Sarah's striking beauty, rosy cheeks, flawless skin, and a refined air rare in the village. She hadn't seen Sarah in 7 or 8 months. Last year, Sarah's face was acne-ridden. Some said she sought treatment, others that she moved to Oakville or abroad. Seeing her now surprised Emily. As Emily approached to greet her, Sarah nodded curtly and turned away. Though Clara preferred Sarah, Emily and Sarah had been cordial, even sharing meals at Emily's home. This coldness stung, and Emily sighed, heading to the fish stall. There, gossip swirled. Sarah didn't go on a project. They say she was pregnant, took leave to give birth, one woman whispered. Pregnant? Where's the baby? My nephew at the council said she filed for medical leave, but really, she was pregnant. Worked until her 6th month, then stopped. Nonsense. She's unmarried. Pregnant with whom? If she had a husband, she wouldn't hide it. Don't spread rumors. Only the council chairman and my nephew know. He overheard her. Emily smirked. Village gossip spun wild conspiracies, Sarah treating acne, working in Oakville, or giving birth. The idea of her hiding a child was absurd. A person isn't a needle to conceal so easily. Buying fish, Emily hurried home, ignoring the chatter. At home, Clara's voice rang out. Henry, doesn't Mikey look like James as a baby? The spitting image. Emily's heart sank, her earlier unease resurfacing. Clara, noticing her, smiled. Back already? Watch Mikey. I'll fold clothes upstairs. Emily dismissed her suspicions, picked up Mikey, and carried her groceries to the kitchen. But as she stepped, the floor, freshly cleaned by Clara, was slick. Emily slipped, crashing down. Instinctively, she clutched Mikey, her hands throbbing as she hit the ground. Mikey's head grazed the floor, and he wailed. Clara and Henry rushed downstairs. Clara, ignoring Emily, scooped up Mikey, screaming, "How could you let him fall? You cruel woman! What did this baby do to deserve this?" Stunned, Emily protested, "It was an accident." Clara shrieked, "Not your flesh and blood, so you don't care, do you? A barren, heartless woman." Emily's chest tightened, pain choking her. As she tried to explain, James entered, hearing Mikey's cries. "What happened, Mom? Your wicked wife. Even if Mikey's adopted, you treat him with love. Yet she let him fall, bruising his head." Clara hissed, whispering something to James. Suddenly, James slapped Emily, shouting, "Why would you do this?" Tears welled in Emily's eyes. Her swollen hands ached, but her heart hurt more. For the first time, James struck her, believing she harmed their adopted son, when she tried to protect him. After 4 years, she realized she didn't truly know the man she married. James's hand dropped, and he muttered, "Emily." She stood, facing them, fear replacing pain. She wasn't jealous of a child, but James's readiness to strike her without question shattered her. Clara still clutched Mikey, glaring. Only Henry and James were silent. Emily sat on her bed, replaying Clara's words and James's reaction. Her nose stung, tears threatening. Clara's voice echoed outside, "I'm not harsh, but 4 years without a child, and her attitude is awful. A barren woman with no manners." Henry interjected, "Enough with calling her barren." James, silent, entered the room. Seeing Emily, he said, "I was too heated earlier. I'm sorry." Could an apology erase her pain? She stared at her husband, lips trembling. James slapped his own face, saying, "If you're angry, hit me. Hit me." Emily's heart ached. She couldn't bear seeing him like this. "James, don't," she whispered, embracing him. "I forgive you, but don't do it again." Relieved, James pulled her close. "I know you've worked hard. I want you to treat Mikey like your own. I was wrong to hit you, but reflect on yourself too." Emily froze. She thought he regretted his actions, but he still doubted her. "Don't look at me like that," he continued. "For years, and nothing. If it were someone else, would this marriage have lasted? I've tried, taking in Mikey. I hope you'll be reasonable." When he said, "a woman who can't bear children," Emily's heart shattered. She'd served his family tirelessly, caring for Clara even during illness. Yet, he saw it as her duty, not her devotion. His words cut deep, exposing her buried pain. James left without another word, and Emily sat, tears streaming as she cooked dinner mechanically. The next day, she and James barely spoke, the house heavy with tension. Mikey slept with Clara, who sensed their rift. On Monday, Emily went to work, eyes sunken from sleepless nights. During her shift, the manager summoned her. "The department head wants to see you." Exhausted, Emily dreaded facing Nathan. He paused, noting her disheveled appearance. "Ms. Carter, the accountant, will take maternity leave soon. You studied accounting but work as a seamstress. That's a waste. I'm recommending you for a 6-month course in Oakville, weekends only, to replace Ms. Carter. Your skills are sufficient, and I prefer not hiring outsiders. What do you think?" Surprised, Emily recalled her accounting degree, abandoned due to poverty. She once dreamed of this career, but now shook her head. "I can't do it." Nathan frowned. "You used to say you'd give anything to be an accountant. Have you lost that ambition?" Emily looked down. That was her youthful self. Now, with a chaotic family, she knew James and Clara wouldn't allow it. Seeing her silence, Nathan added, "I didn't think marriage would bury your dreams. Honestly, seeing you now, I can't believe I loved you." His words stung, but he was right. She'd sacrificed her aspirations for James, only to toil as a housewife. Sighing, she said, "If there's nothing else, I'll go." "Stop," Nathan commanded, grabbing her shoulders. "You're being foolish. This is your chance. Why throw it away? You've tormented me for years, but to torment yourself like this? I thought you had a good marriage, but it's a nightmare. Is this life worth it?" Emily stared, shocked. How did he know? Instead of gratitude, she felt wounded. "Let me go. You're crazy. My family is none of your business. You have your own life, stay out of mine." "Who said I have a family?" Nathan's question stunned her. He released her, saying, "Fine, I won't meddle. But this is an order. Think it over and answer by next week." Emily returned to her sewing, distracted. She and Nathan had loved passionately, but that was the past. Despite her issues with James, they were still married. She despised betrayal, so Nathan's actions unsettled her. Yet, he was right about her dreams. That evening, she found Helen, James's sister, at home. Married and living in Oakville, Helen used to be demanding but now kept her distance. Clara announced, "Helen's expecting her second child." Emily, cook porridge for her, prepare Mikey's formula, and clean the house. Exhausted from the day's events and her Cold War with James, Emily complied. After dishes, she tried soothing Mikey, who wouldn't sleep. Clara scolded her, and the pent-up frustration made Emily burst into tears. No one noticed. Outside, the family chatted merrily. When Mikey finally slept, Emily collapsed, exhausted. James returned past midnight. Emily said, "The company wants me to study accounting in Oakville, weekends only." He dismissed it. "No studying. You barely have time for Mikey. Are you out of your mind? Why can't I study? You know it's my dream." Emily retorted. "You have Mikey now. Be a responsible mother. Weekends, Mom's too old to handle everything. Your mother, always your mother. You're home weekends, help her. I'll study mornings and return afternoons." James glared. "If you go, we're done. Divorce." Emily's heart stopped. "Divorce? Fine, let's divorce." James, shocked, roared, "You ungrateful woman. Mom was right, barren and heartless." He stormed out. Emily sat, realizing her sacrifices were foolish. That night, she stared at the ceiling, tears falling. She didn't know where James went, nor did she care. The next morning, after her in-laws left, she caught a bus to her father's. On the bus, a neighbor, Rose, spotted her. "Emily, not working? Where to?" "Visiting Dad," Emily smiled. Rose sighed. "Your dad's lonely. You look tired. Everything okay? I heard you adopted a boy." "Yes," Emily nodded. Rose hesitated. "I shouldn't say this, but I heard Mikey's James's son." Emily froze, her unease confirmed. "What?" "They say he's James's. I don't know if it's true, but who adopts a month-old abandoned baby? Your mother-in-law's not that saintly." Emily had suspected but denied it. Now, clarity hit. She asked the driver to stop, disembarking. The truth sank in. At home, she saw a red scooter in the yard. Laughter came from her bedroom. Heart pounding, she opened the door, flipping on the light. There, naked on her bed, were James and Sarah. They scrambled apart. James stammered, "Emily, why are you here?" Fury surged. She slapped him, her hands stinging. "You liar." James grabbed her. "It's not what you think." Even now, he lied. Emily glared, hatred boiling. She'd ignored rumors of Sarah's pregnancy, believed Clara's tale of finding Mikey. Her instincts screamed Mikey wasn't abandoned, yet she trusted them. She was the fool in their cruel game. James turned to Sarah. "Go outside." Emily shouted, "Stay. Face me." James pleaded, "Let her go. We'll talk. Don't call me your wife." Emily snapped. "Face us both. How long have you deceived me, raising your child?" Sarah, cornered, yelled, "Who are you calling names? You, the woman sleeping with my husband. And you, James, no better than scum." James, enraged, said, "You're too much. I hid it because you're barren. What's that compared to my sacrifice?" "Sacrifice? You and your family are the vile ones." Emily retorted. James admitted, "Yes, Mikey's mine and Sarah's. So what? Blame yourself for being barren. No man stays loyal to a woman like that." Pain seared Emily, but she steadied herself. "You're right. We're done. Divorce. You think I'm scared? I kept you out of pity, but you're ungrateful." James sneered. Sarah chimed, "See how she talks to me, and you allow it?" "Let her go," James said. "She's worthless." Emily packed, smiling bitterly. "I'm leaving you, not the other way around. A man like you, blaming his wife's infertility, is pathetic." James didn't respond. Emily knew this was inevitable. Mikey was his. If she hadn't caught them, she'd have been cast out eventually. "I'll send the divorce papers," she said, leaving without further words. Fighting would only degrade her further. Outside, tears fell. 4 years of love, 4 years of marriage, despite the betrayal, the pain was real. Dragging her suitcase down an alley, she looked at the sky. Divorce was freeing, but her infertility made her question her worth. As she cried, her phone rang, a strange number. She ignored it, but it persisted. Answering, she heard Nathan's warm voice. "Got your certificate yet?" Wiping tears, she said, "Not yet." "You're crying," he said. "Where are you? What happened?" His concern broke her. Sobbing, she hung up. When her tears dried, she dragged her suitcase, unsure where to go. She wanted her father but feared worrying him. Finally, she took a bus to his house, the only place left. At the gate, she saw a car. Nathan stepped out, asking, "What happened? Are you okay?" "It's my family." "Why are you here?" she asked. Nathan hesitated. He couldn't say he was worried. Her swollen eyes confirmed his suspicions. He'd seen James with another woman at an Oakville motel, and years later, his heart still ached for Emily. "Can I have a few days off to handle family matters?" "I'll still take the course," she said. "Rest." "It's fine," Nathan replied. Emily dragged her suitcase inside. Seeing her father's gray hair, cooking alone, she wept. He noticed, asking, "What's wrong?" Sobbing, she told him everything. She expected him to urge reconciliation, but he said, "Come home. If he has another child and doesn't need you, stay with me." Embracing him, Emily cried. For years serving James's family, rarely visiting her father, who always supported her despite her hardships. A week later, the courts summoned her for mediation. James, still charming, showed no remorse. Reconciliation failed, and they divorced. At the courthouse, James and Sarah embraced openly, heedless of Emily. She walked out, the gray sky oddly freeing. Did she regret it? No. Was she sad? Yes, but divorce was right. Sarah called, "Thanks, Emily." Her mockery stung. For what? For leaving, so James and I can be together. For raising my son. You're shameless, Emily shot back. Keep James. I wish you luck. A sleek car pulled up. Nathan opened the door. Emily, let's go. Sarah's face twisted. Emily hesitated, not wanting rumors, but boarded. Why pick me up? She asked. I was free, Nathan said. What if your wife hears? Emily teased. He chuckled. Who said I'm married? Emily was stunned. She'd assumed he was. His familiar smile stirred memories. At a diner, he said, I'm not married. Someone spread that rumor. Her heart twinged. After the divorce, Emily threw herself into work and studies. Nathan drove her to Oakville weekly. She resisted, knowing he had to report there, so she relented. Both single, she maintained distance, seeing him as her boss. The course was 6 months, but with Ms. Carter's leave, Emily took over early. Nathan guided her, rekindling memories of their college days when he tutored her. 3 months in, she learned James and Sarah were marrying, hosting a lavish 50-table wedding. Rose called, saying Clara bragged about her golden daughter-in-law, unlike Emily, barren and rude. Nathan noticed her mood. Not feeling great? Want to be alone or grab food? Emily recalled Nathan's parents' death anniversary. Today's tough for you too. He nodded. They dined at a city restaurant, sipping wine. Rain fell, stirring old memories. Emily drank heavily, wanting to drown her pain. Nathan joined her. Drunk, she collapsed. He took her to his new Oakville apartment, laying her in the guest room. Sobbing, she clung to him, whispering, "Nathan, stay." He thought she'd call James, but it was his name. Her tearful eyes and wine-scented breath overwhelmed him. They kissed passionately, shedding clothes. Her beauty captivated him, their bodies entwining, erasing years of pain. They made love until exhaustion, falling asleep in each other's arms. Morning came, and Emily woke beside Nathan, horrified. "How did this happen?" "Let's get back together," Nathan urged. "Dressing," she said, "take me to school." "Emily, let's try again," he pressed. She refused. Divorced, she wasn't ready, especially with her infertility. She cared for Nathan but feared another failed marriage. "No reason. I just want to go home," she said. Nathan drove her silently. At her father's, she ate sparingly, haunted by the night. She wasn't a virgin, and Nathan wouldn't face consequences, but she felt guilty. Days later, she avoided him at work, unwilling to fuel his hopes. On Lunar New Year's Eve, Nathan's car was at her father's gate. Her father, fond of Nathan, invited him for the holiday. Emily protested, but Nathan stayed, helping decorate. Her heart warmed, but reason warned against hope. At midnight, fireworks lit the sky. Nathan grabbed her hand. "My biggest wish this year? To marry you." Emily's eyes welled. "I can't. A woman's purpose is motherhood, and I can't do that. I'm not worthy. We can treat it. If not, we'll adopt." "It's okay," he said. Tears fell. "I don't want you to suffer my pain. I can't love anyone else. Don't reject me," he pleaded. She wanted to agree, but pulled away. "I can't." The next morning, Nathan was gone. Her father said he left a red envelope. Emily felt cruel but saw no other choice. After the holiday, she felt unwell, vomiting. A colleague, Jane, teased, "Are you pregnant?" "Impossible." 5 years, nothing, Emily laughed. "Go check," Jane urged. Nathan overheard. "Let me take you to the hospital." At the clinic, tests confirmed a 7-week pregnancy. Emily, disbelieving, wept with joy. Nathan vowed, "I'll take responsibility." "Don't cry. I'm a mother," she sobbed, nodding. "Let's give our child a family." In the hallway, Clara's voice rang out, scolding Sarah for neglecting Mikey. James, holding Mikey, snapped, "You're lazy." "Mom's right. I'll watch him from now on." Sarah spotted Emily, sneering, "Found someone new already?" Emily retorted, "You found someone before my divorce. I've been free for months." "Checking for infertility?" Sarah mocked. Nathan flashed the ultrasound. James, seeing it, paled. "You're pregnant?" "Not your concern," Emily said. Back home, Nathan planned to move Emily's father in, preparing for the baby. 2 months later, they organized their wedding. Rose visited, whispering, Sarah left. James tested Mikey, not his son. Clara's devastated, James is a wreck. Sarah's family sent her to China for work. Emily wasn't surprised. She'd suspected Mikey's origins. Clara regretted losing Emily, and James lingered at her gate, too ashamed to speak. Emily felt no pity, only indifference. Her sonogram showed a boy, but gender didn't matter. Nathan cherished her and the baby. He pampered her, unlike James. Emily once thought old love couldn't return, but with Nathan, love reshaped everything. Sipping orange juice, she hugged him, feeling love as fresh as their youth. They embraced silently, spring blooming outside, mirroring the new life within her. Dear listeners, that concludes today's story. Please like, subscribe, and share to support our team. Farewell, and see you next time.